Well, I guess let's go ahead and jump into adding annotation. Like I said before, we're going to do it on the headlight side first, and then Les is going to actually take over and show you guys how you would be able to do it using the iOS native app, okay? So let me go ahead and share my screen. Hopefully everybody can see my screen. You should see me inside of the LADOTD Training 2.0 project. This is a sandbox environment, if you guys don't know, that you can go on here and you can actually create observations, try out observations, and just try different things to make sure that you are utilizing the product correctly. And this is also an environment where you can't harm or hurt anything, okay? So feel free to try out anything that you want to inside of this project. Everybody should have access to it. So just like any other observation that we first create, right now I'm in the journal section of things, and you can click right here on the green plus. When you click on that green plus, it will open up the journal observations for you to be able to select the type of observation that you want. So I'm going to go ahead and click on image. First thing that comes up is my camera. I'm then able to take a photo. You will notice that 3 buttons actually appear, okay? The first button that you see on the screen is going to be this green check. If you were not adding annotation, you would be able to click on that green plus, that green check. It would save the photo for you. The next button that you see is the one that we're going to use today as far as annotation is concerned. We have the pencil. If you click on that pencil, you're then able to open up a new list of options for you to annotate on this photo. You'll notice that off to your left in the top and bottom corner, there's a dot as well as a little A alphabet. That dot at the top allows you to be able to change the size of the pencil that you're using, okay? To mark the screen. Pretty much I kind of stay in the middle, right, with the medium-sized one as opposed to the small one, to make sure that people are able to see the annotation that I put on photos. Down here at the bottom left is the letter A. This will allow you guys to be able to type in. Now, I will go ahead and let you guys know that typing in on the photos is not searchable. However, it could come in handy for certain things. For example, if you guys are doing any kind of measurements or anything like that, you can use the length times width times times height and be able to type it in this field. You can also do certain things as far as just pointing out and say the issue or something like that, very generic. However, when you get into wanting to be very defined as far as what you're stating, make sure you reserve that for the description field inside of the observation. And the reason why you want to use the description field is because that information becomes searchable. So we have instances where if you were saying, hey, this bolt is damaged, you might be able to talk to somebody, or somebody might search for damaged bolts. That will be searchable if it's in a description field. If you put it in annotation, it's not searchable. However, you could put the size of that bolt inside of this to make sure that people who are looking at the photo can actually tell the size of the bolt. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys, and you guys understand why we don't want to put too much as far as typing in information on the annotation as opposed to using the description field. So for this right here, I'm going to just show you an instance of where I would use that. So for example, I have this screen up here in this plant. I can do a little line straight up here. Then this box where the annotation is, I can say, plant length or something like that. And then I can come in here, double tap inside of that box. It opens up the opportunity for me to type in when I would like to type. Now, there's 2 ways that you can do this. I can do this one way by typing it in, or I can use dictation and say, plant size. I can then hit the green check, and then now that information is saved, okay? I can also draw an arrow pointing here, and then that would just let you guys know how long this plant is, which this plant is 1.5 feet. I can create another box to say 1.5 5 feet. Hit the green check, and then I can put that right over there. Okay. Another thing that I can also do is I can change the color of the pencil. Okay. In that top right corner, I can adjust that to whatever color that I might want to put up here. So for example, if I wanted to change the color and put blue here, I will be able to also do that. I can also use those boxes to be able to add, the size of the TV screen that's right here. I can also do a few other things. If I'm not happy with some of that annotation, I would be able to hit the counterclockwise arrow, and it would take off the last piece of annotation that I added. Also, I can use the trash can that would delete all of the annotation that I just added. And then I can easily remove that just like that. But this helps in areas where you guys are a little bit further away from being able to take a picture that will be right there in front. This also helps when you have small items that show up on a photo and people might say, what are you actually wanting me to see inside of this photo? You can use annotation to kind of clearly define those things or point out what you want them to look in on. Okay, this is also very helpful, or the most common way is to use it for measurements, to be able to show exactly what's going on, whether it might be a storm drain pipe, whether it might be a hole that you can see the hole, but you can't see how deep the hole is. You can actually add annotation to kind of give more clarity around exactly what you took the image of. Okay. When it comes to it, after this, after you create your annotation, you can come in here, you can hit the green check. Right now, I removed all the annotation, but I could add it back if I so choose to. Change the color again, and you'll notice that it opens back up. Like I said before, draw my line, I can add my box right there. Then after that, come in here, feet. And I just want to go ahead and show you guys once again that I'm adding all my annotation back. Plant size. Here. Hit the green check. Now you notice that there's a list of options at the bottom. You have save. If I'm good with the photo that I've taken with the annotation, I can hit save. I can also retake the photo. The annotation will probably stay there. Then there's also the gallery option, and I'm sure Les is going to go into more details when we get to that point where the gallery option is. You can also toggle the annotation. Okay, if you wanted to see the photo without it, you can go ahead and hit toggle, and then you can also edit the annotation. Okay, so hopefully this helps you guys out, but I'm just going to go ahead and hit save. You'll notice that it shows up here. One thing that I will say in regards to the annotation, you guys can put annotation on there from an administrative or manager's perspective or PE perspective. Whenever you have where an inspector actually puts annotation on there, don't feel like that annotation has to stay. You can also share this photo. You have the ability from the web to download this photo without the annotation, okay? So if there's ever annotation, you can say, hey, I like the photo, or this photo could be useful, or this photo is something that I can bring up in a meeting, but I don't want the annotation to show. You can actually remove this on the web, so whereas you can get a clean photo without the annotation. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. So after that's all said and done, we still want to remember our best practices when it comes down to creating observations inside of Headlight, okay? Which means I want to make sure that I do have a title. I can come in here and put plant size. For some reason it thinks I'm saying play today. So after I have that plant size, the reason why I want to go over that is because this is something that we want to reiterate to you guys. Make sure that you are using 2 to 3 words when it comes down to the title. Also, to the right of this photo is the dynamic tags. We want to make sure that we include as much as possible always, okay? So if there is a piece of equipment that you know in here, then you would use that. Line item, you want to make sure that you have. If there's a tag that's relevant, make sure that you include it as well. What'd you say, Brandon? Okay. It was a mistake.
It wasn't me.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So you want to make sure that you have all of those things included. As I stated to you guys before, the description field, I can add something in here. I can use dictation to say, plant is located right next to monitor, period. Could be a hindrance or disturbance to the monitor. So for example, like this photo here, you can see that I went into more detail about my annotated photo with the description field. Okay, so if there was me talking to Les and say, hey, Les, could you check out the image that I have of the monitor? He can search monitor and that would come up. If I used it in the annotation, he wouldn't be able to see it. So I just wanted to kind of give you guys why we would prefer you guys to put descriptions in there as opposed to writing them inside of the photo. But hopefully this was very helpful to you guys on how you can use the Headlight software to create annotation on your photo.